Welcome to Design, Build, and Deliver with Hart Companies, where we dive deep into the world of life science with leaders who decide, design, and deliver the next generation of pharma and biotech facilities. I'm your host, Samir Gondalia. Thanks for joining me as I interview visionary leaders shaping biotech and pharma facilities from C suite executives to project decision makers. Hear real stories, industry trends, and actionable insights to help you build your facilities and your career smarter, faster, and better. Let's continue with Design, Build, and Deliver with Hart Companies. My guest in today's episode is David Rampone, a leader whose impact extends far beyond engineering and construction. David is president of Hart Engineering Corporation. He has spent decades not just building facilities, but building trust, excellence, and a legacy of craftsmanship that stands the test of time. David's leadership reaches deep into the heart of Rhode Island and the life sciences industry. In addition to guiding Hart Engineering, he serves as chairman of the Miriam Hospital Foundation Board of Trustees and chairs or sits on the boards of numerous education, labor, safety, trade, and charitable organizations. In our conversation, David and I talk about how timeless organizations are built, not through slogans, but through integrity, rigor, and relationships. David shares what it really takes to get life science facility projects done on time and under budget, why some projects succeed while others stall, and the biggest and most avoidable causes of delays. For anyone leading or managing facilities and capital projects in life science, this episode is packed with practical wisdom earned through decades of real-world experience. So whether you are a facility leader, an engineering manager, or just someone who appreciates the art of building things that last, this conversation will give you a rare inside look at how great projects and great organizations come to life. I enjoyed and learned a lot from my chat with David. Hope you do too. Here's David Rampone. Good morning, David. How are you doing today?
Good. Samir, how are you today?
I am fantastic. So let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about Hart Companies and your journey with it before we get into the details about the industry and the projects.
Sure. The original Hart Engineering was formed in 1942 by a gentleman named Sid Hart, who owned it through 1962, and it was taken over by a man named Bud Greenwald in 1962. And my brother, my father, and I bought the business from Bud Greenwald in 1984. It was mechanical process subcontractor, and it also had a general construction division, which did water and wastewater treatment. We still do that. We still have a division that does water and wastewater treatment facilities. We've got several going on right now in the local area. But shortly after we took over in 1984, we had a strategy to get into a portion of the business that was more difficult, more specialty related, and required the highest of technique, education for our people, and excellence in our profession. So we spent 5 or 6 years investing a lot of money, time, effort, other people's time, acquiring the equipment, the education, and learning all of the regulations that go in to building a biopharma facility. And so that's been going on for probably 30 years now, and it's been very successful, and that's now our niche in the industry.
Right.
About 10 years after that, we started Hart Design Group, which was targeted to our private clients who had need for engineering services, but when they used some of the big houses, they didn't get the best people. They got kind of B team, C team people to do their small work. And it was targeted at filling the niche that our clients seem to have for smaller and mid-sized engineering and design projects without hiring the biggest companies in the world to do it. So that became a major part of our niche. And then about 15 years ago, we started our own passivation business, HP Services, because we found that a lot of times we would work so hard on shifts and overnights and weekends, and it would be hard to get the job passivated in a timely way. There weren't companies just sitting around waiting to do our passivation. So we decided to do our own. That way, when we got to the end of a job, we were available to do it. And we didn't have 2 and 3 day delays in waiting for a passivation contractor to come. And we now, with that, we provide the three main services that our clients need, which is construction, engineering, and design, and the passivation.
So this sets up for, this is a nice segue for the next question, was that you already mentioned the niche about hard companies. How has the industry changed over the years or over the decades in this case? What to the industry leaders used to do which was good, which they are not doing? You know what I mean? Like, how has the industry changed? Because I have seen differences in my lifetime that a lot of things have changed how you do business, and you can see the results in the field too. So what has changed over the years in your opinion?
Biggest change in our business that I've seen over the last 40 years is what we receive is a set of documents issued for construction, the amount of work that's actually done on the drawings. We now used to get a full set of drawings that showed where everything went, what everything was, the layouts, the other trades layouts. We don't get that anymore. We get drawings that are from 50 to 75% done. We have to figure out a routing for the pipe. We have to have people figure out what instruments to use, what equipment to use. Without a design firm, it would be impossible for us to take a set of drawings that we get now and bid a project or even put an accurate budget on it. And what that causes is a lot of holes when we make a budget. There's things missing from the drawings, a hole in them. We don't know if what fills that hole costs $1,000 or $1,000,000, and the information isn't ready yet. So we end up with a budget that's based on what we know and plug numbers for what we don't know. And in a lot of cases, those plug numbers are 25% of the budget, which is a lot of cost. So we're forced to give the owner a budget that isn't all that accurate. It's the best we can do. It's all the information that's available, but it causes the budget to be wrong. It's either too high or too low, depending on the assumptions we made, and it causes the owner to not have a good grasp on what his project cost is going to be until it's already underway, which is not the right way to do things. If I could make a suggestion, it would be we start too early. I have a set of drawings in here right now that have no instrument list, no equipment list, no piping specifications. It's impossible for us to put any kind of a budget together. It's not the contractor's job to specify what the owner wants for equipment, for instruments, for piping materials, for procedures, and it makes it difficult to actually put together a budget that means anything.
Is that because, in your opinion, unrealistic timelines that everybody's trying to hit, or is that lack of resources, people to do that, or all of the above?
I think it's a rush to get to the job and break ground. And we're seeing buildings that are coming up out of the ground, and they're still changing the P&IDs while they're building the floors and building the walls, and they don't even have a definite layout of their equipment yet. So there's a lot of rework that goes into that. We have to take a lot of sets of drawings and redesign them to make everything they want fit in the space they actually built, which was based on 50 or 60% drawings. but don't match the 100% drawings.
It almost seems like that if you take few weeks in the beginning to get the drawings right, might end up, no, you will definitely end up saving months and millions of dollars once you start the project.
You will save literally millions of dollars if you just wait a little bit and get everybody on the same page as to exactly what the owner wants and exactly what his process is, and then tell everybody. You would save millions of dollars by cutting out rework when there's no definite plan. We can't prefab anything because we don't know exactly where it goes. We can't order instruments and long lead items because we don't know exactly what they are yet. If they could just wait a little bit of time to get as much information out as possible, these jobs would go much smoother. There'd be less changes in the field. There'd be less conflicts. There'd be less rework done. We'd be able to start prefabbing earlier. We would be able to order long lead equipment earlier, and it would make the whole job go smoother.
How do we make the facility owners understand that? Or how do we make that part of the project?
That's a good question. It's hard to get the owner. I understand the owner's position. He's in a hurry. He
Yeah,
wants to get things done.
right.
And then the owner hires a construction manager who generally doesn't understand how difficult it is to build a biofarm facility and what goes into laying everything out and making sure every piece of pipe has a slope and that everything has to be done in an exact way. And I think they push a little bit. Well, while you're finishing that, you can get while you're finishing doing all that, we can get the building up out of the ground. We can put the walls in. We can put the sides up. We can put the roof on and be ready. But there's so many changes that go on inside of that envelope that it causes a lot of rework. And I think if the owner could take the construction manager's suggestion with a grain of salt,
Hmm.
that there are delays, there are problems that are caused by building a building before you know exactly what's going in it, I think that would improve our all around experience for all of us. We don't like going and telling the owner, this doesn't fit here anymore. You showed
Right.
a 1,000-gallon vessel here, and there's a wall there now. We have to redo all the piping to go around the wall. We have to move the vessel. We got to move the instruments. That doesn't help anybody. It adds hundreds of thousands of dollars of cost. It causes delays, and the delays that it causes wipe out the time you saved by starting too early on building the envelope.
Right, right. Now let's go one step wider, which is we just talked about the facility and the initial part. Right now, David, our industry, life science industry in America right now, the facilities have to be FDA compliant. That's not negotiable. But there are budget constraints because our industry is going through some crunch
There
right
are
now.
budget constraints on everything.
Right, right. And the timelines are non-negotiable. Companies still need this capacity. They still need to retrofit the facility and all that. How would you go about making sure in the whole project execution that the facilities are FDA compliant, on time, and under budget with the budget constraints we have? Because everybody has less money this year than they did last year, if you know what I mean.
First point, the first thing goes back to what I said is don't start too early.
Right,
But secondly, I mean, FDA compliant is a given. There's no talking about that. There's the excellence of the work. Hart employs most of the people in this area who are experienced at this type of work. So we can do the job fast and we can do the job as well as anybody in our industry can. But we can't do it fast and we can't give a good budget if we only have half the information when we start the job. We're already designing the piping layout on the jobs, but that's not so bad. If that was all it was, it wouldn't be bad. We have people that lay out the pipe so that we can take it off. There's just too many holes in the documents to give the owner an accurate budget. The cost of that job is kind of in the stars already, but you can't release it in little pieces. You need to know it all to give the owner a budget he can live with, and then be able to sit down and say, I don't have that much money to do this. What can we do to cut it down? And when we start really early and go into a rush to do a job, we don't get that opportunity to sit down with the owner, with the engineer, and go through things where we can save money and cut
Mm,
out scope and kind of redesign the thing in a more economical way. We missed that opportunity.
right, right. So that's where we start. Now, if you go one step farther, so we talked about industry, talked about company. Let's talk about a mid-sized company such as Hart. And a lot of our listeners, either they are working for mid-sized companies the size of Hart, or they are leading an organization about 100 people, 50 to 100 people, company the size of Hart. How do you build a company or an organization with a solid foundation?
Face it, it's all about the people that you bring in. That's who does all this. Okay? We've had incredible success by every summer and every semester. We hire co-op students, we hire interns. Some of them take a liking to our business. We take a liking to them, their work ethic, their intelligence, their dedication. And we hire them when they get out of school. And 4 of our vice presidents are those people who
So started as an intern or a co-op?
they started as an intern or a co-op student and became our senior people.
Well, so this should be a very motivational and uplifting message for people out there. You can start as an intern and still become a VP at a company.
They're all, I have to say, not to brag about our business, but people don't leave. Our employees, if you go down our row of offices of all our senior people, they've all got 20 years experience. And now we've got the next generation in place who will take over as the vice presidents and the senior project managers when this group of people who are in their early 40s now become my age and move along. Hire people. We let's face it, what we do isn't rocket scientists. We're not rocket science. We're not splitting the atom here. It's we can teach people what we do. What we look for is good people, smart, honest, dedicated to what they do, with the highest integrity. If you can fill out those 5 forms and check the boxes, you'll have a place at Hart that'll last a long time. And it's the integrity, the dedication to our excellence. It's what we pound into everybody every day. We have a thing called the 10 Hart Ideals, etched in glass in our front lobby. They were written by my father 40 years ago, and they're as true now as they were then. Not a single one of them deals with money or profitability. It deals with how we treat our clients, what our relationship is, what our responsibilities are to our clients, to each other, to our tradespeople. It has to do with our integrity. It has to do with our honesty, with being fair with everybody we do business with. And that's how we live our business every day. It's never, I encourage everybody to stop by the sign and read it once a week, just to remind us that this is our heart and soul. It's not, we don't do anything just for the money. We won't take a job if we don't have a senior person to run it. We won't take a job just to have a job. If we can't bring our true excellence to a project, we'll pass on it.
That is so true that it's easy to forget that there are lots of buildings with futuristic offices and modern technology which failed because they didn't have the right people in place. And there are lots of good companies which have been operating out of a modest building, but they've been in business for decades, if not centuries. So it's all about people. What is astonishing is that it's so easy to forget that, yes, you can have big buildings and you can make a lot of money, but without the right people, nothing will amount to anything. You need right people. You said something interesting about that you have certain executives and then their next generation, assume their children or their family members from the next generation, they are working here. How is Hart planning to stay the same and change with the new crop of leaders coming along?
Technology will change. And as it changes, we keep up with it. Buy new machines, we get new training, we have seminars. But the basic character of the people who are growing into into the jobs going forward is the same basic character that exists in our senior people now. And that'll never go away. And that'll be the bedrock of our company for generations, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a lot of second and third generation people who work here.
Okay. I knew
It's
about second generation. I didn't know about third
it's
generation.
it's there's a couple of thirds. It's a family business. We try to treat everybody in here like family as best we can. We hire people's kids for the summer,
Hmm.
give them jobs in the office or in the shop, or if they're a little older, maybe driving a delivery truck. But we try to accommodate everybody. And I know everybody's children. I know everybody's spouse here. It's just a family oriented place.
Yeah, absolutely. I second that. What would you advise to younger leaders who are in their 30s about building a long-term career?
I would tell them this: don't stay in your own little silo. Okay. Find out what's going on around you. It's easy to get assigned to a task in your silo and stay in it. Why broaden your horizons? Find out what's going on. First of all, find out what your boss and your team need to be successful, and do what you have to do to help, not just your work, but know the entire scope of what the team needs and try to pitch in and help with that. But try to find out what's going on in the department next to you. What are their problems? What are their needs? Okay. What can I do to make their life easier by what I'm designing or by what I'm buying? Broaden your horizons as much as you can and have a relationship with the people you work with beyond hello, goodbye, and I saw him at the coffee machine this morning.
That is so true, because a lot of opportunities are not advertised.
Correct.
But if there is someone who can talk to multiple departments or who can do more than what he or she needs to do, if there is an opportunity, they'll create a special position for that person if that person and that position will add value. And that's the easiest way to stay relevant in your industry for the long term.
Also,
You
can I just add one thing? Get involved in the associations that your company's a part of. It's important. You don't have to be the president of it. You don't have to be on the board of directors of it, but get involved. It's go to the events, find out what's happening in your industry, not just your company. Find out who's doing what, who's building what, who's coming up with a new plan for something. Be on the cutting edge of your business.
Well, actually, that was my next question. You have a special relationship with the labor unions in this industry. Please tell a little bit about that, what your role is and what it means to you, what has meant to you over the years.
Well, officially, my title is Chairman of Labor Relations Division of the Rhode Island Associated General Contractors. Okay? And it means that I'm the person who does the negotiations for the contractors side with the unions for their collective bargaining agreements. But I'm also very involved in all of their pension, health and welfare, annuity plans. I'm a trustee of most of them, if not all of them. And over the years, I've encouraged most of my young people to get involved in the unions, either on the apprentice funds, interviewing new people to come into the trades, or some of the benefit plans, because it changes your whole relationship with the union. If the only relationship you have is when one of you calls the other because he's mad at something, that's not a good relationship.
It's just transaction.
But with this relationship, I spend hour upon hour with these people in pension fund meetings and annuity meetings and benefit meetings and negotiation meetings, and we all have a common goal there. We're not at odds over anything, and
Mm.
we become friends. We have a real relationship. And it's not just about I did something he didn't like or he did something I don't like. I have a relationship now where I can pick up the phone and talk to any union around here and settle anything in minutes. Okay. We have a mutual respect, and it's based on spending hours together outside of the general day-to-day operations of construction versus unions.
Yeah, you don't see each other as an adversaries. You're like partners.
Exactly. We become friends over the years.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
you spend 4 hours once or twice a month with people, you have a different relationship
Right. Right.
than normal.
Right. Absolutely. Now, David, you are an avid golfer. I believe you've been an avid golfer all your life. What are the lessons you have learned from golf that you have applied to life, your personal life, professional life, and vice versa? Something that have, you lessons you learn in personal life, professional life that you've taken to your golf game.
I learned patience in my golf game from work. Okay.
I thought I would expect the other way around, but you learn to be
No, I
patient.
learned patience on the golf course from being at work. I learned at work from golf. Not everything is going to go the way you want it. Okay. You hit 80 shots a day. Not all of them are your favorites. They're not great. And you have to go on and hit the next one. And that's not every day goes exactly the way I want it here. Not every project has a day where everything is perfect. You put your head down, you go find the ball, and you do it, you fix it, you do it, you hit it again. Okay. And you keep at it till you finish the hole. And that's what I really took away from playing golf. Plus, golf gives me a chance to support a lot of the local charities. I play in a lot of charity
Mm-hmm. Okay.
events around town, and well, I'm involved in a lot of charities around town. It gives me a chance to give back to the community. I'm the chairman of the Miriam Hospital Foundation Board of Trustees, which gives me another way to give back to the community. So
Yeah,
it's
that's associated with Brown University, right? I believe.
correct. It's owned by Brown University Health.
Right, right. So you get to play golf and you get to give back to the society, two of your favorite things. David, this has been a very, very fascinating and interesting conversation. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the easiest way to get in touch with you?
The easiest way to get in touch with me is to send me an email, drampone@hartcompanies.com. Happy to answer anything that comes in.
I will put it in the show notes. That's DRAMPONE@HART, heartcompanies.com. Before we say our goodbyes, David, do you have any ask or parting words for our listeners?
No, only advice. Put your head down, do a good job every day. It's not your whole life though. Don't let it take over your family. Don't let it take over your children. It's harder to learn that when you're 30 than it is when you're 68.
Yes.
But there needs to be a place for your family. There needs to be a place for you to unwind and get rid of it. It's a high pressure business. You need to get rid of some of that pressure sometimes.
Yeah, we all need that because our work and life, they have so become intertwined that we do need that work-life separation. You can play golf like David, or you can paint or draw or cook, whatever helps you decouple from work and find your own little center of joy. David, this was really good. Thank you very much for your time and sharing everything that you shared. And you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and you have a wonderful day as well.
Thanks for joining us on Design, Build, and Deliver with Hart Companies, where we explore the people, projects, and ideas shaping the future of life science facilities. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to follow or subscribe so you don't miss upcoming episodes with more leaders from across the biotech and pharma world. To learn more about Hart Companies, our integrated design, engineering, and passivation services, visit hartcompanies.com, that is HARTcompanies.com, or connect with us on LinkedIn. I'm Samir Gondalia. On behalf of everyone at Hart, thanks for listening. Until next time, build with purpose, deliver with pride.